chosen ones. The council of heaven has been summoned, and I need you to hear this before the next 24 hours slip out of your hands. This is not an ordinary reminder. This is not a soft word meant to comfort you for a few minutes and then disappear from your mind. This is a sacred signal, an urgent warning, a heavenly alarm sent directly into your life. God says you will not believe the shocking news beginning to go viral about you, because what is being spoken is not gossip, not empty chatter, and not random noise. It is a sign that heaven has started moving on your behalf. Your time is down to 24 hours. Listen now before this message fades from your spirit, because at the end of this video, I am going to reveal a hidden secret that will help you understand why everything is beginning to shift at this exact moment. I know there were seasons when you stayed silent for too long. You were misunderstood, yet you did not defend yourself. You were overlooked, yet you kept standing. You prayed in the dark, cried in private, and carried wounds no one else could see. There were moments when you wondered if God still remembered you, if your sacrifices truly mattered, if the door assigned to your name would ever open. But I want you to understand this heaven's silence was never abandonment. It was preparation. God did not forget you. He was protecting you from wrong doors, wrong people, and wrong timing, so he could bring you into the exact moment no force of darkness could stop. Right now, something has already begun in the unseen realm. Your name is being mentioned in places you have never entered. People who once ignored you will soon have to look again. Those who thought you would remain buried in darkness will be forced to witness the light of God rising over your life. If this word is touching your spirit, comment 777 as a sign of agreement with heaven. Type "I receive it" if you believe your hidden season is coming to an end. And before we go deeper, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with someone who needs to know that God has never forgotten them. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal why your name is being carried into conversations you do not even know about. Something has been released in the unseen realm, and I need you to pay close attention to the way your spirit is responding right now. What began quietly is no longer quiet. What started like a whisper in the wind is becoming a wave, and that wave is moving with divine speed. You may not see every detail yet, but heaven has already shifted the atmosphere around your life. There is a sacred current rising, and you are standing at the center of it. This is why certain things feel different. This is why your heart has been restless. This is why old doors feel closed, while something new keeps pressing against your spirit like a hidden key waiting to turn. God is not moving randomly. He is following a blueprint, a grand design that was written before people ever knew how to value you. I want you to understand this clearly. The conversations forming around your name are not accidental. Some people who once ignored you are beginning to feel the weight of what they dismissed. Some who thought your silence meant weakness are about to discover that your silence was spiritual armor. Heaven has been building something inside you through the storm, through the fire, through the wilderness. And now the floodgates are beginning to open. This is not about noise. This is not about human attention. This is divine acceleration. God is allowing certain eyes to turn toward you, not because you begged for recognition, but because your appointed time is arriving. The wave that is moving now cannot be stopped by jealousy, delay, criticism, or hidden opposition. When the throne of heaven releases a decree, the earth must respond. So do not treat this season like every other season. Do not explain away the signs. Do not shrink back because the movement feels bigger than you expected. Stay alert, because the next part will show you something many people miss before the world ever recognized you. Heaven had already confirmed you. Before anyone applauded you, heaven saw you. Before anyone believed in you, God had already marked you. Before your name was ever spoken with honor on earth, it had already been carried with purpose before the throne. I need you to let that sink deep into your spirit, because this is not a small thing. Every tear you wiped away in silence, every prayer you whispered when your strength was almost gone, every act of obedience you gave when no one thanked you, every moment you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier, none of it disappeared. Not one sacrifice was wasted. Not one wound was ignored. Not one lonely night was meaningless. Heaven recorded it all. You thought you were hidden, but you were being watched by God. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being prepared. You thought the silence meant nothing was moving, but in the unseen realm, heaven was building an altar out of your faithfulness. That is why this moment is so serious. What is happening now is not random recognition. It is not luck finally turning in your favor. It is the public release of what God already confirmed in private. People may call it sudden, but heaven calls it due season. Galatians 6:9 says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not." That due season is not just a comforting idea. It is a divine law. It means the seed you planted in tears has an appointed harvest. It means the prayers you thought were buried were actually growing roots beneath the soil of your life. And now, the ground is beginning to break. Those who dismissed you are going to see evidence they cannot argue with. Those who misunderstood your quietness will realize it was not weakness. It was discipline. Those who mocked your faith will be confronted by the fruit of it. But I want you to hear this carefully. This recognition is not for your ego. It is for your assignment. God is not lifting you so you can become proud. He is lifting you so your life can become proof that He remembers the faithful. Type chosen if you know God has been preparing you in silence. Tell me in the comments, have you been walking through a hidden season where no one understood what God was doing in you? Stay with me. Because the hidden season is not ending quietly. It is breaking open like light after a long night. There comes a moment when the night can no longer hold back the morning. You may not hear chains breaking at first. You may not see the door fully open, but something in the atmosphere changes. The weight that once pressed against your chest begins to lift. The confusion that followed you for so long starts losing its voice. The same darkness that made you question your worth is now being pushed back by a light it cannot control. For a long time, you carried things people never saw. You smiled while your spirit was tired. You kept showing up while your heart was still healing. You walked through seasons where rejection felt louder than promise, where silence felt heavier than any storm, where even your prayers seemed to disappear into the ceiling. But heaven was not absent in those moments. God was not standing far away, watching without care. He was covering what was not ready to be touched, protecting what was too sacred to be exposed too early. The delay had a purpose. The hidden place had a purpose. Even the loneliness had a purpose. It became a wilderness where your dependence was purified, a furnace where your faith stopped being theory and became fire. Now the veil is lifting, and the life that people thought was finished is beginning to shine with evidence they cannot deny. This is not a revenge story. This is not about proving people wrong so your pride can feel satisfied. This is about God proving that what He protects in secret, He can reveal with power. So, when the light begins to rise over your name, do not run from it. Do not apologize for surviving what was meant to bury you. Do not dim what God Himself has ignited. You are not stepping into visibility by accident. You are stepping into divine order. But be careful, because the spotlight coming toward you is not the kind of fame the world understands, and the next part will show you why. Do not let the world teach you how to interpret what God is doing. That is where many people lose the weight of the moment. They see attention and call it popularity. They see doors opening and call it luck. They hear your name spreading and think it is about influence, status, or applause. But what is happening around you is far more serious than that. This is not heaven trying to make you famous. This is heaven making your assignment visible. There is a kind of exposure that destroys a person, and there is a kind of exposure that reveals what God has been building in them all along. The first one feeds pride. The second one carries purpose. The first one makes people chase the crowd. The second one makes people bow lower before the Lord. And I need you to understand the difference, because the spotlight coming toward you will test the condition of your heart. It will reveal whether you want attention or obedience, admiration or assignment, applause or anointing. You were not carried through storms just to become addicted to human approval. You were not refined in the furnace so you could worship the sound of people praising your name. God did not protect you in the wilderness for you to step into the open field and forget the one who brought you there. What he is releasing over your life must point back to him. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven." That is the purpose of the light. Not self-glory, not performance, not ego. Glory must return to the Father. So when people begin to notice you, do not become intoxicated by it. When they praise you, stay humble. When they question you, stay steady. When they envy you, stay clean. When they misunderstand the blessing, do not waste your strength trying to explain a door only God had the authority to open. Your life is becoming evidence. Your testimony is becoming louder. Your journey is becoming a sacred sign to others who almost gave up in their own hidden season. If this word is reaching the deepest part of you, type Amen. If you do not want fame, you want purpose. Come on, use me. Lord, if you are ready to carry the assignment without letting pride touch your heart, and stay with me, because in the next part, I will show you the sign you may have been ignoring, the reason the next 24 hours cannot be treated like an ordinary day. The next 24 hours are not ordinary hours. I need you to receive that with a sober spirit, not with panic, but with preparation. There are moments in life when heaven does not simply whisper, it marks time. It sets a line in the spirit. It draws you toward a door that did not open yesterday, could not open last year, and would not have opened when your heart was still unprepared to carry what was behind it. But now, something has shifted. A divine door is beginning to move, and what comes through it may arrive in a way you do not expect. It may come as a message you were not waiting for. It may come through a conversation that seems small at first, but carries a strange weight in your spirit. It may appear as an opportunity, a sudden confirmation, an unexpected invitation, a dream, a warning, or a moment where your inner man says, "Pay attention. This is not normal." Do not despise the form because it looks simple. Some of the greatest doors God opens do not arrive with thunder. They arrive with clarity. They carry peace, weight, and timing. Revelation 3:8 says, "Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it." When God opens a door, human rejection cannot lock it again. Delay cannot steal it. Jealousy cannot cancel it. Darkness cannot rewrite what heaven has already authorized. But hear me carefully, an open door still requires discernment. Not every opportunity is divine. Not every voice deserves your agreement. Not every person who appears during a breakthrough season is assigned to your future. This is why the next 24 hours must not be treated casually. Guard your attention. Guard your reactions. Guard your spirit from fear, bitterness, and distraction. The enemy does not always attack by stopping the door. Sometimes he attacks by making you too confused to recognize it. So stay awake. Pray before you answer. Listen before you move. Do not let old wounds make decisions for your new season. God is bringing you to a sacred intersection where heaven touches earth, where hidden preparation meets visible movement, where the promise starts taking shape in real time. I am not telling you to panic. I am telling you to prepare and stay with me. because every divine door attracts both favor and opposition, and this is where many people become careless. The strange thing about light is that it does not only show the path in front of you, it also exposes what was hiding beside you. When God begins to lift your life, people's hearts start speaking louder than their words. Smiles become easier to read. Silence becomes heavier. Certain conversations begin to feel different. You may sense a distance in people who once seemed close, or a sudden interest from those who never cared when you were struggling. That is not your imagination. Elevation has a way of pulling hidden motives to the surface. Some will come near because they truly see God's hand on you. They will encourage you, cover you in prayer, and rejoice without needing to compete. But others will approach with mixed hearts. They may not even say anything openly against you, but their energy will drain your peace. Their questions will carry hooks. Their compliments will feel sharp underneath. They will want access to the light without honoring the process that produced it. And this is where you must become spiritually awake. Because not every open hand is safe. And not every familiar voice is assigned to your next season. There is a reason the pressure increases when the door begins to open. The enemy understands timing. He knows when a breakthrough is close. And he often sends distraction, dressed as concern, flattery, dressed as friendship, and confusion, dressed as advice. If he cannot stop what God is releasing, he will try to surround it with noise until you lose your clarity. That is why your discernment must become stronger than your emotions. You cannot carry a divine assignment while giving every voice permission to shape your decisions. This does not mean you live in fear. It means you walk with clean eyes. You forgive, but you do not ignore patterns. You love, but you do not surrender your spirit to manipulation. You stay humble, but you no longer shrink to make jealous people comfortable. Let God reveal what needs to be revealed. Let Him remove what cannot go forward. Type discernment if you are asking God to show you who is truly assigned to your life. And if you have felt people shifting around you lately, comment, "I see it." Stay close, because what feels like loss may actually be protection. What feels like distance may be God creating room. What feels like silence may be mercy in disguise. Sometimes the hardest part of being led into a new season is realizing that not everyone who walked with you in the last one can cross the threshold with you now. You may want to explain it. You may want to repair what God is actually removing. You may even feel guilty for outgrowing certain conversations, certain environments, certain connections that once felt familiar. But familiarity is not always alignment. There are people who could handle you when you were wounded, but not when you are healed. Some were comfortable with your struggle because your pain made them feel safe. They knew how to stand beside the version of you that doubted, waited, and stayed small. But now that God is calling you higher, their hearts are revealing a resistance they can no longer hide. That is why separation hurts. It does not always come with a loud betrayal. Sometimes it comes through a slow fading, a strange coldness, an absence where support should have been. Still, do not chase what grace has released. God is not tearing your life apart. He is clearing the ground for what your next assignment requires. The higher the calling, the narrower the path becomes. A crowded circle is not always a protected circle. A familiar voice is not always a faithful voice. And an empty place is not always a sign of loss. Sometimes, it is the exact space where divine provision is about to enter. Let the pruning do its holy work. Let the wrong attachments fall without begging them to stay. If God is moving someone out of your life, trust that He sees what you cannot see. You are not being abandoned. You are being positioned. Stay with me. Because God is not only changing your circle, He is gathering witnesses who will soon confirm what He has done in you. There are people who saw more than you realized. They may not have spoken. They may not have encouraged you when you needed it. They may have stood at a distance, quietly watching how you carried pain. how you kept your heart clean, how you continued moving when life gave you every reason to collapse. You thought your faithfulness was invisible, but someone saw the way you endured the valley without becoming bitter. Someone remembers the kindness you offered when you were the one who needed comfort. Someone noticed that even when you were under pressure, you did not let the pressure turn you cruel. God allowed certain eyes to witness the process because the unveiling would need confirmation. Your transformation was never meant to remain locked in private. There are people positioned around your life who will become living evidence that something real has changed. They will not be able to explain you with luck. They will not be able to reduce your breakthrough to talent, timing, or coincidence. At some point, even the ones who doubted you will have to admit that a hand greater than human effort has been moving over your story. And the most powerful part is this: some witnesses will speak for you in rooms where you are not present. A name that was once ignored will be defended. A gift that was once questioned will be acknowledged. A life that was once underestimated will become impossible to dismiss. Not every witness will come with pure joy. Some will struggle with envy. Some will feel convicted, and some will pretend they are not moved. But their reaction is not your assignment. Your assignment is to remain steady while God lets the evidence speak. So do not fear the eyes that are turning toward you. Do not become distracted by who claps and who stays silent. The witness is not there to make you feel important. The witness is there to magnify the faithfulness of God. Stay close, because when the spotlight turns toward you, the next test will be learning how to carry the weight without letting it change your heart. When attention begins to turn toward you, the real test is not whether people see you. The real test is whether you can remain the same before God while people are watching. Visibility has a weight that many people underestimate. It can open doors, but it can also expose what was never surrendered. It can bring honor, but it can also tempt the heart to start feeding on praise. That is why you must enter this next season with clean hands, a steady spirit, and a heart that refuses to make an idol out of recognition. The spotlight is not a throne for your ego. It is a platform for obedience. Every open door is not just an opportunity, it is a responsibility. Every person drawn to your story is not just an audience. They are souls watching what faith looks like when God finally brings someone out of hiding. Your life is becoming a message, and how you carry this moment will speak louder than what you say about it. So move carefully, not fearfully, but carefully. Let humility guard what favor opens. Let wisdom slow down what excitement wants to rush. Do not let applause make you forget the nights when only God heard you. Do not let criticism harden the tenderness that made your testimony powerful in the first place. You do not need to perform for the crowd. You need to stay surrendered to the one who called you. This is where your assignment becomes deeper. God is not only giving you visibility, He is trusting you with influence. He is placing light on your life so others can find courage through what He has done in you. Carry it well. Carry it prayerfully. Carry it without pride. And stay with me, because before this message closes, there is one final secret you must understand about why all of this is happening now. The final secret is this: you were not delayed because heaven forgot you. You were delayed because God was building the version of you that could survive the door He is now opening. The waiting was not wasted. The wilderness was not punishment. The furnace was not meant to destroy you. It was shaping your character, purifying your motives, strengthening your faith, and teaching your spirit how to stand when the weight of favor finally arrived. Now the hidden key is being placed in your hand. Readiness, that is the word. You are not stepping into this moment because you begged long enough. You are stepping into it because God has finished something deep inside you. The fear that once controlled you is losing its power. The rejection that once defined you is losing its voice. The old version of you that needed everyone's approval is being left behind. Because this next door cannot be carried by insecurity. It requires courage. It requires surrender. It requires a heart that can receive blessing without becoming proud, and withstand opposition without becoming bitter. So before this message ends, I want to pray over you. Father, in the name of Jesus, I ask you to cover the person hearing this word. Guard their mind from confusion, their heart from fear, and their path from every false voice sent to distract them. Let the door you are opening be protected by your hand. Let every wrong connection fall away with peace. And let every divine relationship come into alignment at the appointed time. Give them wisdom to recognize the sign, courage to step through the door, and humility to carry the blessing well. I declare over your life, the door God has opened will not be shut by envy, delay, betrayal, fear, or darkness. I declare that your hidden obedience is becoming visible testimony. I declare that the next 24 hours will carry confirmation, clarity, protection, and divine acceleration. You are not forgotten. You are not rejected. You are not behind. You are chosen, covered, prepared, and positioned. If this word landed in your spirit, type "I receive it" as your agreement with heaven. Type "Amen" if you believe God is opening a door no man can shut. Like this video, subscribe for more prophetic encouragement, and share this with someone whose hidden season is ending. Stay awake, stay prayerful, stay surrendered. The door is opening, and this time, you must not miss it.